What is up, everybody? This is the Philly Fly Show, and we are back in action, baby. Third week in a row doing the videos and having a live stream. Well, not a live stream, but a live video going on, actually, instead of just having those blank old screens. We are here. Quick little review before we jump into the UFC Fight Night. We had UFC Pay-Per-View 318, and what a send-off for Dustin the Diamond Poirier, man. One of the greatest fighters in the UFC. Yes, I will say that. I am not talking just because you don't win titles and just because you don't, amount to what your main goal is. If you told me you can have that guy's career over anybody else, check swing right here. I'm taking that one right there. But he did lose. The Philly Fly Show went 8 for 14, so we had what I would call a bad week. But if this is a bad week, man, the average still is not going to go down super far because I was not far off. But some, I guess, gonna not toot my horn because it's not the right way to say it. But the main card got most people, unless I did say with Michael Johnson to take the swing at $20. I remember saying that it was worth it for you if you did. If you listen to me on Patricio Pitbull, he got his first win in the UFC. And then that Daniil Rodriguez one. That one, I did not see Kevin Holland getting beat like that at all. So shout out to Daniil for having a good game plan. And then Paulo Costa, he got the win, but that dude just needs, I feel like he needs to change camps. If he changes camps, and probably people are not going to like, but if he came to a camp in the States just for a while, not to fully live, but to adjust and do something completely different inside, like a Jackson Wink or American Top Team or stuff like that, I think he could add something to his arsenal in his game. So that's my only little critique there. And then Max Bless Holloway is a contender at lightweight. He does carry power now into the lightweight division. We saw with Dustin. Dustin got hurt multiple times in that fight where he was dazed and confused. And we just shout out to Dustin the Diamond Poirier. And we're getting some hot sauce here soon. I'm looking up how to get it for a decent price. The first time I looked it up, I was like, that's kind of ridiculous. But that's not what we're here for. This is UFC Fight Night. Robert Whittaker versus Reinier de Ridder. Now, RDR, Rene de Ridder, he is getting a big up-and-coming shot to take on Robert Whittaker. Now, this is a test for Robert to see if he actually can contend with all these guys in the UFC or if he comes to the full gatekeeper status. So he needs to get a win bad too, just as bad as Ridder does to stay in this. We got a 12-leg fight. We're going to make this quick because I want to make this a quick podcast for everybody. Let's jump into it. Match leg number 12 is a heavyweight division fight between Martin Buday and Marcus Bershant. Now, Marcus is a negative 320 favorite, whereas Martin Buday is a plus 250 underdog. Marcus is making his UFC debut versus a guy who has some experience in the UFC. So I'm not liking what the odds makers did here. Dude might have some good first round finishes, and he might be very, very well rounded in his skill set. Martin Buday is shown that he's got hands and he's kind of a different animal. I think the vet's going to get it here. Well, the more veteran guy here with the experience. So the guy with experience, Buday, is going to get the win with that plus 250, 1 out of 5 on the confidence level. He can get his hand raised. All right, match like number 11, guys, is Muhammad Yahya versus Steven Niguin. It's a featherweight fight. Yahya is a plus 300 underdog, and Steven's a negative 400 favorite. I didn't know a super good amount about both these guys. I had to go back and research, and I didn't watch any of their fights, but you could just totally see with the stats on the Steven Niguin side that he's no slouch. So I'm picking Niguin here to get the W here. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He can get his hand raised. Now, match like number 10 is a banger fight. This is no slouch. Ibo Assam versus Billy Eklanana. Now, Billy is a plus 240 underdog, whereas Ibo is a negative 300 favorite. This is a light heavyweight fight. Billy is one of the fighters from the PFL making it to the UFC, so that's that's good to see that up and comers actually can come through the PFL. The problem is PFL might not make it that much longer. So Ebo's got a decent, like a guy he can't overlook, but I think Ebo gets a big win here and gets a big finish in front of the fans there in Abu Dhabi. Yes, this is an early card, guys. If you didn't know, it starts at either 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., if I'm not mistaken, on the prelims. So if you haven't planned out, guess what? It's coming out tomorrow morning for us. But Ebo gets his hand raised 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He can get a nice win tomorrow morning. All right, match like number 9 is a strawweight female fight. Yes, in Abu Dhabi, we have another female fight again. I love them for finally letting this happen. I know there's some weird restricted rules. I think they gotta like wear shirts and stuff, but who cares? Let the women fight. It's good for both of them to get over there and get some recognition. Amanda Hebas versus Tabitha Ricci. Baby Shark is a plus 175, aka Tabitha Ricci. Amanda Hebas is a negative 210 favorite. Now, Amanda is the 7th ranked strawweight, and Tabitha is the 10th weight strawweight, or 10th ranked strawweight. Tongue tied there, but man, I really like Amanda Hebas's game, but her downfall has been girls who can grapple. Any sort of grappling kind of throws her off with her hands there, and she doesn't touch up as much. So if this stays a distance fight, Amanda Hebas wins it all day, but if they get into the clinch or close, Baby Shark's got it. So I'm going to pick Baby Shark here with the advantage. I think in my personal head that she's going to win 1 out of 5 on the confidence level. She can get her hand raised against a good old fight against Amanda Hebas. That's a good fight, guys. Do not miss that one on the prelims. I know you might not know either of them. They are should be well-known fighters, up and comer. All right, match like number 8 here. We got a bantamweight fight between Davy Grant and Damon Blackshear. Now, Davy Grant is on the older side, but he's got this little resurgence going after his last fight. Super cool to see. He's a plus 260 underdog, whereas Damon Blackshear is a negative 370 favorite. I'm going with Damon Blackshear. Now, he's had some unfortunate mishaps here. That was a while ago. He's on a good fight win streak. He seems to get back on got back on his riding horse, and I just feel like Davy Grant's not gonna have enough for him. Damon Blackshear, 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He can get his hand raised. Match like number 7 here is a welterweight fight between Muslim Selikov versus Carlos Leal. Carlos is a negative 500 favorite, whereas Muslim's plus 350 underdog. Look, man, Selikov is no slouch. It's not a slouch fight, even at his age. He's shown he still's got it. He's just going against one of the top up-and-coming prospects in Carlos Leal. I don't think this is going to be a good fight for Selikov. I think the younger guy is going to get a big W here. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He can get his hand raised. Now, guys, that could be the feature prelim. On these type of fights on the fight nights from now on, I'm not going to say prelim and main card just because they've been switching it up on me, and online when you see it, it shows that it's 6 fights. Then they've been switching it to 5 to kind of make it like the pay-per-views. Usually it's 6 fights. So we're just going to jump right into the next one. It's the 6th fight on here. Bantamweight fight. Bryce Mitchell versus Saeed Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov is a plus 120 underdog, whereas Bryce Mitchell is the negative 140 favorite. Bryce is making his debut at bantamweight. I am so happy he's making this change because at featherweight, yes, he's strong, but he's not big. He doesn't do anything special in the striking department, and he has said that he just has felt drained, even though it's a bigger weight class for him. I just think doing the weight cut to 135, if it doesn't kill him and he can do it consistently, it'll be better for him in the future because now he'll have some size in there. Maybe his striking will be a little bit, have more pop on it, and he's definitely going to be stronger and have grappling game. So Bryce is going to look good here. The problem is he's fighting a guy who knows how to fight at bantamweight, who's good on good grappler. He's not a perfect fighter in Saeed Nurmagomedov, but he's still very well-rounded. I think Bryce does not get a W here. I think Saeed does, but I think it's a distance fight. So if you're going to pick this, I'm picking Saeed Nurmagomedov to win in the distance. or 1 out of 5 on the confidence level that he can get his hand raised. All right, we'll jump to match number 5 here. Light heavyweight fight between Nikita Krylov and Bogdan Gustav. Now, Bogdan is a plus 160 underdog, and Nikita Krylov's a negative 190 favorite. Krylov is a 10th ranked light heavyweight, and Gustav is a 13th, so it's a good fight here. I just think Krylov's got a way, way better skill set. The only difference is Bogdan's got some power. So if Bogdan lands very well and lands a nice combination, it could be a bad day for Nikita Krylov. But I still think Nikita Krylov gets the W there. All right, we'll jump into 1 out of 5 on the confidence level if that happens. Wow, guys. Dying parched here. Jeez. So much talking in so little time. All right, we'll jump to the flyweight division here. We get Asul Almabayev versus Jose Ochoa. Now, Jose is a plus 160 underdog, whereas Asu is a negative 120 favorite. Now, Asu's the 9th ranked flyweight. He has now just kind of been fighting some up-and-coming guys. He did not do good in his one super, we'll say his top fighter that he's faced. He didn't do that good in it, but hey, that's what happens. He's now had his fight switched over in the last couple weeks to Jose, so we'll see how that works. Negative 120 on Asu, plus 160 on Jose. I'm taking Asu all day, and those are good odds too. Reason why I'm doing that is because that grappling, it feels like going to be too much for Jose, and he's not going to be prepared for it on a very short notice fight there. So 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. Asu can get his hand raised after the fight. Matchup number 3 is a middleweight fight. He is Abu Dhabi's favorite fighter. He literally is on every single Abu Dhabi card. I mean, there's a couple of guys on here who've been on a couple of them, but he's been on every single one because this is the only place he can really fight. I think he might have actually fought in Australia once. He might have fought in Australia once, but otherwise, all of his fights have been in Abu Dhabi. Shara Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Baralt. Marc-Andre Baralt is a plus 475 underdog. Shara is a negative 750 favorite. You see what I'm saying here, how he's definitely Abu Dhabi's favorite? He's got skill set. He's got it. He just doesn't have great power. He throws combos, though, so his combos can finish you. Difference here is Marc-Andre Baralt has fought some big dudes. He's been in there with the best of them. He's felt power, and he can dish out shots. So if Shara is not careful, he can get KO'd bad. And Mark's been doing it on pretty consecutively, and at least his last 4 fights he's been competitive. So it's worth a risk to put some money on Marc-Andre Baralt. If you have a hundy, I'd risk a hundy on it. But if you don't have a hundy and you're sometimes a low banker like I am on occasions, $20, $25 is totally worth it, the risk on Marc-Andre Baralt. I think Shara gets the win if it goes the distance because he'll just point fight him, and the judges will give it to him even if he didn't fully win. So it's not only way Marc-Andre Baralt wins is get a finish. If you want to get big money, jump on that one to get him to get a finish, but I'm not jumping on that one. I might risk it a little bit, but I'm not going to jump on it. 1 out of 5 that Shara can get his hand raised, and we have a banger of a fight next here. Co-main event of the evening is a bantamweight fight between Peter Yan and Marcus McGee. Marcus McGee is a plus 300 underdog. Peter Yan, negative 400 favorite. If you've never seen Marcus McGee, man, he looks like the guy from Small Soldiers, Gorgon. It's so funny once you look at him and you see that. You're like, whoa, that's great. Marcus is a 12th ranked bantamweight going up against a 3rd ranked bantamweight in Peter Yan. That is nuts. Honestly, Marcus is good at everything. He's well-rounded. It's just Peter Yan is a different level, and I want to see if Marcus has got it. If Marcus can get a win here, if he just gets a distance win and it's convincing but not like anything super special, he's still going to need one more fight, but he could get a title shot after that. But if he wins a convincing fight over Peter Yan, bad news for the up-and-comers, because that dude could get a very good title shot, and you do not want to face up-and-comers like that who you do not have a great game plan against. And he's not had a lot of fights in the UFC, but I think it's going to be too much, man. I think Peter Yan's boxing, I think Peter Yan's freaking wrestling is going to be too much for him, especially if Peter goes forward the whole fight. If Peter is backing off at all, he's going to learn that Marcus can touch him the bleep up. So his boxing is going to have to be perfect. and he's going to have to come forward if he wants to win this fight. Peter Yan gets a W tomorrow. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He can get his hand raised. We are at the main event of the evening, boys and girls. It is a middleweight fight between Robert Whittaker and RDR, a.k.a. Reinier de Ritter. Now, de Ritter is a 13th ranked middleweight versus the 5th ranked and Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker is the favorite at negative 155. Reinier plus 130. Look, man, something. I don't know what it is. I don't know if age, too many fights, not changing your game plan, not getting in a different camp. But I have felt that Rob went to City Kickboxing to learn some stuff. I just think that he hasn't put it all together from learning some new stuff. I think he's just, things have passed him by a little bit. It's not age. I just think he just didn't work on enough stuff. He's fought killers, and it's just not been on the right end of it. But he gets to fight an up-and-comer here. He's not had a lot of UFC fights, but he's got some crazy good skill set. If you didn't know, Robert got destroyed by Chimaev in the grappling. I think Reinier does beat him. And obviously, that's going to be my pick that I just said that. I just think it's going to be too much for Rob. I think the whole grappling and striking is going to be too much. Reinier is going to try to just advance forward, which now everyone knows that's how you beat Rob. And Rob's not good against those check hooks, man. So I really hope Rob gets a win. I really do. That was a good guy back in the day, and then he just hit the wrong end of fighter so far. But I think Reinier de Ritter is going to be too much for him. If not, Reinier de Ritter is not on that level yet, and he's going to have to work his way back, and he might not be able to. So, but we'll see Saturday. It'll be a nice one. Parlay whatever you want. I don't have an all your cash person because I'm just not that confident in every single fighter here. I even was down on Tuesday looking at, I was down at the casino where I can sports gamble. I was putting in future bets for the NFL. Cannot wait for the NFL to start. But, man, I couldn't put a parlay in, guys. I couldn't put the fire to the stick and put the money down. I just put more future bets in with the last part of my money that I was going to use for MMA. But this week, I'm just going to stick to the old DFS. I didn't put anything out there last week, and I got destroyed last week. So maybe I'll put out a play here in a little bit. I did have some other news. Check out the Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube channel because that's where this podcast lives on. But hey, you only check out the Facebook page. Love you too. Follow that, and peace out. Shout out to Right Way Production Studios for always making this happen, and we will see you next week. Peace out.